Good day. Welcome to Dylan's Daily Show. So, activist groups like feminist and racial equality groups, they have become very radical. This is no surprise, right? I'm not like breaking news here. This has obviously been happening. It's not about equality anymore for these groups. It's now about more rights for other races and for other genders, right? Out of the two genders, right? So it's like, a man should now surrender his job to a woman because he has oppressed her for so long. Or, white people are not allowed to attend diversity meetings because they have been oppressing minorities and African Americans for so long. We have to pay our dues for slavery and things of that nature. Like, it's just becoming radical. These groups are becoming more and more radical. And I'm interested to see, as these groups dig themselves into these holes, how far are people willing to go? Like, at what point are people going to step back and say, okay, I'm not supporting this, is ridiculous. Like, you're seeing it happen. Like, Bill Maher, who's prominently liberal, he's completely against stuff like this. So I'm interested to see, when that is really going to start to take over in the Democrat Party. Because I think that the Democrat Party is either going to have to disassociate with these people or they're going to go down with the ship, right? Like, those groups are going to destroy themselves. And the Democrat Party has two options. They can either abandon ship or they sink. And their party is not taken seriously anymore. But one of those two things will happen eventually because people aren't just going to allow this to happen. Now, there's a college in Oregon, and I know that's a liberal state, and I know that you're not surprised that it's happening in a liberal state, and I wasn't either. The reason I'm making this video is to issue a warning because this is now starting in Oregon, but it could move to other universities within the country, and these are things that we really need to watch out for because... And I'll get to why later in the video, but censoring history, removing text that you don't agree with, things of that nature, that's scary. That's things that happen, these things happen in totalitarian governments, and we should not be advocating for that to happen in this country. Regardless of how much people get up and scream and pout and shout, it shouldn't happen. And it's a fear that I have. That's why, last week I reported on the sex ed classes that were mandatory in Orange County. And now I'm reporting on this. So there's a class, this is at Reed College in Oregon. There's a class called Humanities 110, okay? And it's Introduction to Humanities. Greece and the Ancient Mediterranean, right, is the class. Now, the group, the Reedies Against Racism, do not approve of the curriculum that is being taught in this class. They don't like it. The Reedies Against Racism. Now, first of all, could you have not come up with a better name than Reedies Against Racism? Like, how do you even present yourself credibly when you walk into... I am the, leading member, the chair of Reedies Against Racism. Take me seriously. Like, no. Right? But anyway. So, the class is split into 2 semesters, like most classes, right? But the first semester, they cover Athens and Rome. And then in the second semester, they cover Harlem and Mexico City. So it's split into those 2 semesters. Now, the Reedies Against Racism first came out when they had sit-ins, and then the sit-ins weren't working, so they started shouting, getting up, interrupting lectures, and things like that. They were first unhappy with the authors that were being given to the type of authors that were being, provided, their books were being provided to the students to read in class. And what they were upset with is the fact that they were white. So they started pouting, they started throwing a fit, they started, this is racist, this is not okay, we shouldn't be doing this. And so the school said, all right, and removed half of the white authors from the curriculum. So now, because these groups have decided, because of their identity politics, that it's no longer okay for people to read what white people have written, half of the white authors have been removed. Now think about this for a second, right? That means that under enough pressure, universities will literally stop teaching certain writings based on the identity of the person writing. So it no longer matters what the text says. It now has come to what the identity of the individual is. Think about how scary that is for our future. That's identity politics. And that is not good. That we're, this could be very, substantive text, and we're getting rid of it just because the author was white. I mean, it's sickening to see it happening. Anyway, so that wasn't enough for them, right? They needed more. Now what they want to do is change up the entire curriculum and just stop talking about the white history in general. Let's stop talking about Athens and Rome. Let's add in a new curriculum and only focus on minority culture. Because we don't need to learn about white culture. That's racist, right? We don't need to learn about that. So that wasn't enough. So I've got some quotes from them that I'm going to read here. So Reed Freshman, this is what they, this is from them. This is Reedies Against Racism suggests in their school, this is from the school teacher, they complain on their Facebook group. Quote, Reed Freshmen will still receive the message that learning about white culture is more urgent and foundational to a college education. So apparently the first semester, being about Athens and Rome, is teaching freshmen that it's only important to learn about white culture, right? Apparently in their mind somehow they've construed this idea that's what that means, which is absolutely, I mean, obviously it's completely asinine, right? That's not the case at all. So they said that. Now they're saying, quote, the African and Middle Eastern texts that past Reed activists fought for, including Gilgamesh and the Egyptian love poems, will be cut from the syllabus in exchange for the inclusion of Mexico City and Harlem, the activists explain. As a result, the first semester of Humanities 101 will become actually less diverse than it was before, because of all the non-white texts in the course will be taught after the Greek and Roman content during the second semester. So they're saying, you know, you've now included, so their first goal was to cut the amount of white authors. That happened. So they said, okay, fine, we'll teach Athens and Rome, and then we'll split it up. We'll teach Mexico City and Harlem in the next semester. They're saying, no. That's even worse. Now it's even less diverse, because now the minority writings are being overshadowed by the first semester, which is Athens and Rome with the white authors. So now you're intentionally overshadowing minority history and minority culture, and therefore we need to make a swift change instantly, right? And it's going to apparently teach these freshmen to be racist buffoons when they get out of school, right? Even though racism is on the decline in this country, there is no such thing as institutional racism anymore. But apparently, you know, it's a thing. So I don't know. Students protesting Humanities 110 began with silent sit-ins, like I said before. Now, the school came out and said they are well within their rights to advocate for what they want, but it does not mean they are going to get everything they want. And this is from a college spokesman, Kevin Myers, and they told that to The Fix. Now, I hope that that's the case. I hope that these people do not get everything they want, because if you do, if you start giving to these people, it's a slippery slope, and they'll continue to want more and more and more and more, and we've seen that, right? I mean, look at this. We started with the white authors. They're like, fine, we'll literally get rid of some text because you don't like the race of the person writing it. We'll get rid of that. They've already given them that. That wasn't enough. Now they're saying, oh, you're overshadowing our history. This is, not only is this destroying the left, but this is destroying a college education. It's destroying the value of a college degree. What do you think an employer is going to look at someone's degree if they graduated from Reed College in Oregon after this story gets out? Are they going to look at that and say, oh, this person, you know, this person has status. This person has been very well educated. Let's hire them. No, they're going to look at it and say, okay, this person went to a school that has been completely indoctrinated by leftists. They literally get rid of text based on that. They're probably a raging leftist themselves. I don't want to hire them. And that's what's going to happen. So it's bad for business for the universities to do this. Now, obviously, there's more threats, which we'll get into, but the primary threat, the direct threat to the universities, is that people are going to stop going to college. You're seeing it happen with men. Less people are going to college. Less men, in particular, are going to college. You know, you have Mike Rose saying 85% of jobs in the U.S. don't require a college degree. That's true, but less people are going anyway. That's bad business for these universities who make money based off people going to college and government grants, things of that nature. But a lot of their money comes from people going to college. And, you know, if they stop going, that's not good business. Is the government going to continue to fund that when people aren't going, right? Maybe, because the government enjoys wasting money. But, yeah, so that's the primary concern. And that's why colleges, if for any other reason, you know, if they don't care about censoring history, if they don't care about removing texts like the totalitarian governments have done in the past, they should be concerned because it's their livelihood, right? But we're literally erasing history. Like, it's important to learn about Rome and Greece, right? I think that's important. Not only from a cultural standpoint, but to see how their governments rose and fall and, you know, the history of democracy, things of that nature. These are important lessons to be taught in the education system. I think people need to learn this. It's important to learn about all cultures, all races, all, you know, history of all types of governments. I think that's very important, especially totalitarian governments. Apparently, we haven't been learning about that enough because these people think that what they're doing is okay. You know, it can come in different forms. That's what people don't understand. You know, when I say that they're literally going down the same path as the totalitarians, it's absolutely true. They may not be burning books, but they're removing text from school. They may think it's a noble cause, but so did the people before, right? And it all comes down to selective learning. Here's what you are allowed to know. If what you want to learn is not on this list of things that you are allowed to know, then it's considered racist and you can't do it. And the problem is so many people still rely on universities to grant them their education, right? It's almost like, you know, in order to learn, in order to advance in your knowledge in the world, you must go to college, which I think is absolutely insane. I mean, I have learned the majority of the stuff that I've learned from reading on my own, from finding interest in something, going in and buying books and looking online, watching videos, and learning that way. And I think a lot of people can do that. And I think that's where it's going to be headed, right? You've got alternative sources for learning. And I think we're really headed in that direction because of what's been going on in the universities. But we should not allow people to censor history. We should not allow people to play this identity politics and say that just because an author is white means that what they are writing is any less valuable than what somebody of another race could be writing, especially when it comes to ancient Greece and ancient Rome. Like, perhaps there are just more white people that have, you know, authored books or studies on what happened in ancient Greece and ancient Rome. You know? I mean, maybe that's just more of them have done that than black people. You know, I'm sure if you were going to, you know, read about the history of African culture, there would be more black authors. Maybe there's just some areas in which there are more white authors than black authors. Is that bad? No. It's like the argument with the feminists, you know? There's not enough women in the STEM fields. Maybe that's because they just don't seek careers involving the STEM fields. Quit trying to manipulate our education. Let us just learn what we want to learn. Let the Humanities 110 class do what it wants to do. And these colleges need to get some backbone and stop giving in. Because the more they give in, the more the slippery slope just continues to plunge down. It's like, oh, you've given us this, now you must give us this. And now these people it's like they're like children, right? You know, if your children throws a fit and then you give them what they want, let's say they want a candy bar, right? Let's say your kid wants a candy bar. They throw a massive fit. You say no, and then they throw a massive fit. And okay, fine, just stop. Okay, fine, here's the candy bar. What are they going to do next time they want a candy bar? Or next time they want more money? Or whatever it is that they want. You know, it's just going to keep getting higher and higher, and they're going to learn, hey, my parents give me what I want when I throw a fit. It's the same with these college kids, these liberals. They're going to learn, oh, you know, if I just sit here and throw a temper tantrum, if I interrupt the session, then I'll get what I want. We need to stop this now because it's getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, now it's to the point people like Jordan Peterson literally has people coming to his lectures that are interrupting his lectures. He's not even he's a clinical psychologist trying to help people. It's just, we're going down a very scary path. But anyway, let me know in the comments down below how you feel about this. If you agree with me, comment down below. If you disagree with me, comment down below. I want to get all your guys' opinions on this. If you want some new awesome merch, we've just released a ton of hats on my new website that I run with the Typical Liberal, AmericaRebornApparel.com. You can click the link in the bio. If you enjoyed, again, like and share. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any more. I will catch up with you guys next time. Bye-bye.